All right, here we go. So this match was played in between one of the videos there. You're going to see the ranking, so you'll have an idea of which one I'm talking about. This was a challenging matchup. I played this one after the match that I lost.
With care.
I think. I believe so. Yeah. And this was pretty tough. You got Hector in front, you got Fjorm in front, and you got Valley in front. So this is kind of the setup that I was kind of inferring or referring to. Infer. What does it mean to infer? I don't think it's refer. Refer is the right word here. I gotta look what infer means. I've forgotten. But yeah, this was what I was referring to. And then to top it all off, we have the Heimdallr in the back, and she is yet another unit that makes armored saves rather non-viable. Non-viable, a word? Not viable. Unviable? Yeah, but she has contributed to the, I want to say, demise of the save meta, Heimdallr. And reason being is that she essentially stops one attack. If you can live a hit or one round of combat, then you're essentially depleting your opponent's action economy. And you want to do that. That's a very good thing. And then when you combo that with the ice terrain, with the traps, it just slows everything down. And it's one way to pump the brakes on player phase strategies. Yes, you can incorporate your save units into it, but then, Elise can just do the Elise thing and you don't have to think about that anymore. But with this configuration here, he's kind of boxed off the squishy units in the back. Yeah, Heimdallr kind of has to be there to give the support to Valley, and you want Valley in that spot to provide coverage or threat to the bottom of the map there. She has the Celica ring, so 3 lanes at least covered here. You got my Lyn, and Celica. All of those lanes are covered. Yeah, there's not a lot of safe space. And especially if Elise does like a return or some type of thing. I think she has the ice lock, so she can do a thing and then move again. That's even more threat range. So again, comes back to the point that I was making, that there's just nowhere safe on the map, and you're probably just better off just running the safety fence. If you're not running the safety fence, then I don't know what you're doing, man. I don't know how you're playing safe unless you're just going, all in on turn 1 all the time, which I would love to be able to do, but you kind of need fodder and mythics and support, and I don't have, I want to say 2 out of 3 of those things to really make it work. So I'm compensating by using the safety fence, which makes me a lesser player, I guess, in some eyes, but this is the current setup that I have. It does what it needs to do. This team I'm particularly fond of. I guess, for this week, Celica is the bonus option. I really had thoughts of summoning for Tiki just so that I didn't have to summon on every banner that comes out this month. I don't know which one of those is the better trade-off. Because Tiki is just not very valuable in my opinion, or at least in my eyes. So 1 unit versus 4 units on every banner. I'm hoping that at least one of those 4 units would be good enough for me to run on offense. For this week we have Celica, so that's good. And then next up is the Spring banner, right? I believe so. And I have Thor for that. Or worst case scenario, I'll run Soth, but I think Thor is probably going to be the better option of the 2. She can actually kill things, as opposed to Soth, who is just a bad decision. I don't know.
We'll see it through.
Yeah, I think I fell asleep at the wheel for that one, but yeah, we're going to try to do this to be safe. And again, Heimdallr is just the bane of my existence, because Stahl kind of just ruins everything that I want to do, because everyone has +1 movement. So yeah, she's a Heimdallr. I feel like is still, I don't know, support option. How would you class it? I feel like she deserves a tier by herself. or we should just create a new
Leave it to me.
tier list for units that don't allow you to play the game. That's what it should be called. No fun units, and I think Heimdallr would be at the top of that list. But yeah, Hector I feel like is really close to Black Knight in the armored category, save category. What category? I don't know. Yeah, armored category. Because they both offer no counter disrupt, and Hector can be fairly decent as a save, whereas Black Knight is on the decline. But because I value reflex, since it's the only way to kill anything these days, he is still among the highest ranking units in my opinion within the game. There's only two ways? I'm wrong. Well, I mean, at least at the start of turn, there's only two ways to get that, or the status effects. Reflex currently, there's only starter turn status, him and Mia. So those are the two units that I would look to in order to get support from that. At least on defense, everything else it's pretty much gotta hit the dual button. But for defense, those are the two main ways. And I guess you could probably put that Ingrid in there, but I keep forgetting that she exists. And that comes at the cost of a rally, and it's not a start a turn thing. So not as useful, but still good. But armors, Black Knight's still up there. He's still very powerful, still can kill things. You can still, mess up if you don't play correctly. And depending on who's supporting him, you might probably still miss the kill. So I still think he's, highly rated. I put him above Hector, in my opinion, because even Hector needs reflex to kill things sometimes. A lot of times, actually. But, Hector also has no counter disrupt. So I feel like those two are like hand in hand, 1A and 1B. The problem is, though, I don't know, why do they give Hector this no counter disrupt? It doesn't seem like something that he should have. It's never really been Hector's thing, so that kind of, I don't know what that's about. And it has nothing to do with Ephraim, because that's not even Ephraim's thing. So you'd think, maybe armor effectiveness, remove the armor effectiveness, and then give Hector armor effectiveness, because Hector has had that in the past. Yeah, it's such a weird unit design, but he has that, and it's a drive, and it's really good. And it also solves that other problem that I was talking about on defense, where Silence Ward is the best skill in the game. Hector kind of makes it so that you don't have to run Silence Ward on anyone, and just, run Hector instead. But then, I come back to that problem of how do you get him to kill things when he's an armored unit that can't warp. So, yeah, it kind of comes back to that problem. So I still put Silence Ward above Hector. Still the best thing in the game for me. Yeah, I guess Favor is cool and all, but that's not really helping me stop Elise from murdering my units. So Silence Ward is the top of my list in terms of skills that I value, and I don't have enough of it, which is why I was contemplating pulling on that Tiki banner, because Micaiah is there, and I would love to get a Micaiah, but that's a 1 in 3 gamble. Maybe I don't even get it. What am I saying? We're definitely going to get colorless orbs, but yeah, that would more than likely be me going all the way to Spark just to get a Micaiah, an emblem Micaiah, and that does not seem like practical value or a practical thing to do. So I'm probably not gonna do that. I'm gonna, I was just, these orb packs are kind of not worth it. Because I'm looking at, like I said, I wanted to buy some orbs, and I was looking at the orb packs, and that Binding World Form Pack,
At your command.
Binding World Forma Pack does not look like great value. $54 for, granted, a lot of orbs, but the Binding World Forma is kind of not very good. To be honest, there's no unit from that event that I use. I have a few of them that I've picked up, and they're all good units, but I don't use any of them. And even the Ephraim that I picked up from that event, I have updated his kit. Even this past Forma Soul, I picked up his Forma Soul just to update his kit again. So The only thing that I really got out of that Binding World Forma was the Dragon Flowers, and I'm kind of at a stage in the game where I have a ton of Dragon Flowers because I'm not using them, because the units come and go so quickly that it doesn't even make sense to invest into them. Even the Dragon Flowers feels like this unit is not going to be useful in 2 weeks, so why bother? So I have a ton of Dragon Flowers now, which was never the case. I never had more than 100 Dragon Flowers of each color, but now I have 3,000 of each. So, and it's probably going to accumulate more because I don't even know what to use the ones that I have on, or who rather to use them on. Because the units that I would like to use Dragon Flowers on, I've already done so. And the new ones that I've, like this Boulder here, she's really good. Doesn't really need Dragon Flowers, and I don't really think it would change her matchups that drastically, the 1 point to each stat. You really probably want to go merges if you're like hyper investing. Otherwise, she does just fine with or without it. And then also, I'm not playing with full stats here. I'm actually at a disadvantage all the time, and I'm still getting the kills. So yeah, you don't really need it. So I'm just accumulating Dragon Flowers. Yes, I pick them up from the units because it would be a waste, because I send a lot of them to the barracks or feather them at some point. Fjorm dying, but also not dying, and the traps. Like I said, the traps plus the Heimdallr, everything just kind of serves to slow you down. But when you don't have to worry about initiating into the save, then it kind of becomes less problematic. And also Hector is the far save, which, like I said, is the thing that's becoming more slowly and surely armors are being pushed aside, which is something that I've noticed. I noticed before, but it's becoming more of a thing now. I noticed this way back on Anima season a couple months ago. Whenever it is that what's his name? Yeah, Winter Gatekeeper. When Winter Gatekeeper came out, I kind of realized that I don't need another armor in Anima season to run beside him, because he kind of covers all the bases that I need him to cover. He's bulky enough to live a hit, or at least you can put traps or stuff around him. Plus it was Anima season, so Heimdallr was there, and then to combo it with the traps, it was enough to keep him safe and then have the rest of the units do what they need to do. And Hector is kind of doing the same thing now. There's enough here to keep him safe. He's running far save, and he's bulky, and he can kill things if you try to attack him. So yeah, that already cut it down to 1 armored unit, and it's looking like it's going to be far save, because if you have a frontliner that's a save unit, it doesn't need to be near save, because there's other units bulky enough to survive melee threats. Granted, melee threats are probably the easiest thing for light season because of Lyn. Melee threats, it's the easiest way to initiate into a defense, which is what I'm doing here. And also, I gotta point out, it was really challenging to get Lyn up here, because I had to really think that through, and whether or not the bulwark would have stopped me, because I was also concerned about that. The aim here is to kill Elise. If we kill Elise, then nothing can really reach us. We have enough space to escape everything else. So that's the plan here. That was the plan. But that was really tricky. I was concerned. And also, Boulder not being able to kill this Hector is what I was referring to earlier, or in a previous video, where I said I was very surprised that Boulder was able to kill that Hector. But then Hector with the support is a totally different beast. And that's what you're seeing here. With this one, I had to send Lyn up there with Hardy Bearing. Hardy Bearing seal on this Lyn, and she is performing chef's kiss. She is so good. I did not consider Hardy Bearing on her because I didn't think Hardy Bearing worked against Patience, but it does. Or whatever it is that Hector does. How do you Hardy Bearing a unit that has Hardy Bearing? What are we doing? It doesn't make any sense, but somehow it works. But yeah, we're down to one armored unit on defense. In terms of which one,
Which target?
I go with the far save, because yes, there's a ton of melee threats, and melee is the most dominant archetype or powerhouse in the game currently. But most tanks are able to survive against ranged threats. So you're better off is that what I'm trying to say? No, most tanks are not able to survive against ranged threats because ranged units still or currently hit really, really hard. Like you look at someone like Ivy. Who else do I want to highlight here? Man, Ivy's the only one that comes to mind. But yeah, there's a lot of really powerful ranged threats that it necessitates you still running far save. Whereas the melee threats are limited and specific. You're looking at Boulder, you're looking at Camilla. No one really lives against Camilla, so kind of just give up. Even Shield Fighter, you still die, so you kind of just give up there. Hearthvulgar, kind of 50-50. If you win the speed check, you can probably kill her back. Depends. Nothing else is really that scary melee-wise. Like, you can... there are concerns, but I don't think... Like, maybe it just comes down to what you have in your barracks, I guess. But I feel like, at least in light season, I don't know. Because then you have the Lin problem, and then with the Lin problem, allowing everyone to attack from 2 spaces as melee, that can be problematic for you. But if you're running Loki, then that's not so much of an issue. But then now if you're running Tiki, then that counters them, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like far save is still the save that you want to be using. I feel like it is definitely still the most necessary thing on defense as opposed to running near save. I feel like you can get away with not running near save. Just because of how many bulky frontliners are available to you. You can probably even run 2 armored units in the front row and be okay. But yeah, since we were able to take out Hector, I took the Hector. And I'm also going to take the Elise. And I took the Hector because he was a duo unit. If we were not able to take the Hector, I would have just taken the Elise and then escaped. But taking out the dual unit there allowed me to get some additional actions. So that was just not something I was going to pass up. So we took the Hector. We get extra actions from Celica. We get extra action from Lynn. We get extra actions from Blue Maria. Just actions. Actions like we're making a movie, man. And yeah, we're just blowing everything up here. We're going to leave. I don't remember who I left alive here, but we had enough actions to actually take out the rest of the defense and clear the map on this turn. If I tried, like if I really thought it through, I probably would have been able to do that. But then also, Hearthvulgar was stuck. So maybe no, maybe I'm just wrong there. Hearthvulgar is stuck because of stall from Heimdallr. So that is 1 unit down. We have to take out Valley. And also, we got to take out Hearthvulgar as well. So those 2 units need to go, which that's 2 for Valley, 1 for Heimdallr, 3 actions. And then we can leave Lorather for last, which, just to point it out, which is again another reason why I just do not see the value of this Tiki. I don't know if they're trying to bring back tanking as a strategy to light season by allowing Loki to be neutralized, but that doesn't even matter because, again, Elise, and I forgot what the other thing was. Oh, number 2, tanks just aren't tanky enough. They still there's so many ways to kill them. Even with the buffs that you're getting, even with support, there's just still a ton of units available to kill them. And then if all else fails, Miracle Reflex kills everything every time. So it's just no point. And then 3, Lorather. And it just goes back to the combination that I was running previously, which was Loki and Lorather together. And with the extra slot now, you can put Lorather in to come in on turn 3 if you can put him somewhere safe and still get that, that effect to go off and flash, assign decoy. You're just, not a lot of save units can really withstand that 1-2 punch. Unless you're running both of them in front and then you hide everyone else. But then with the mobility of units these days, it's very easy to just go around something like that and then attack the back row. Or just ignore it altogether with Camilla warping. and then Byleth ring dance or Micaiah ring swap dance or extra action reaction enabling, and just get around the saves altogether. Your team just does not have to deal with the save units at all in general, and then snipe something else. So it's just not going to happen, I don't think. Tiki, if they really wanted to bring back save as an option, they should have just made Tiki incredibly powerful, and they did not do that. They gave her enough to be a support unit, but not enough to be a save. And that's just what it is. So yeah, there we go. This team, I feel like it's really good.
Leave it to me.
I could probably, like, Celica isn't 100% needed here, but she does provide a really good like, I don't know who else I'd put the Byleth ring on if not for Celica. Like, I don't know who else here really needs it or could run it successfully. I have other options on them. But yeah, those are just some of my thoughts. Really enjoyed this match, man. GG's. See you in the next one.